I met Karl Begovich in late 2013, early 2014. After hearing his story, it was clearly a case of never judge a book by its cover. Early 1980s, Pittsburgh. He's a dad, 3 young daughters, 4th grade teacher, basketball coach, recreation director. Steel mill economy crashes. There's a teacher strike. He loses his jobs. You'll never guess what happens next.
We were hurting for money, my family. Things were going bad, and I was worried. Guys were always trying to come up to me with different ideas. All of a sudden, one day they bring in a little bit of cocaine, a little bit of weed. They say, "Hey, Karl, we got to get into this. This is where the money is." I said, "Man," at first I was very leery about it. I was thinking, "Hey, you could go to jail for this stuff." And I didn't have any desire to go to jail, of course. Dante introduces me to this guy at the track. And he starts telling us he has these guys from Florida, and he's got all kind of stuff. We say, "Yeah, let's see what you got." You know, we figure, hey, just BSing us. I didn't realize he was going to bring 1,000 pounds of weed, 30,000 Quaaludes, and about 5 kilos of cocaine.
What am I supposed to do with that?
We sell it.
We sell it. 1,000 pounds of weed?
30,000 Quaaludes?
Yeah. You got a better idea?
It's in my house with my family. My girls are inside.
You're not the only one here that needs to make money.
What am I supposed to tell my wife?
You don't tell your wife anything. I keep everything from my wife. She knows nothing.
She came home. She asked me, "Why is the garage door closed, locked, and you can't open it?" I said I had to disconnect it. And then I explained to her why.
I don't know how else to tell you this, but you know, it's been hard.
Yeah.
You need some money, right, for the family, feed the kids. I had to pick something up. And I don't know if you're gonna approve of this job,
Okay.
but there's drugs in our garage.
What? We have a family. What are you talking about?
Tampa was our main connection for taking our drugs up to Pittsburgh at first. That's when we started going strong. We were traveling to Florida a lot. We were having a good time too. Found out I really liked cocaine, and I found out the best way for me to find out if it was any good was to do it. We did some stuff, maybe once in a while we might smack somebody around a little bit. We never did anything too bad. Even though they are bad people, they do have families and kids and stuff like that. There were times there were people who cheated us who did something. Instead of doing something, we wrote it off. My buddy always dressed real nice, with good clothes. Well, Nick the Blade started calling him pretty boy and stuff like that. My buddy doesn't know who he's going outside with. Well, he had a ball knife in his hand with a blade sticking out. He thinks he's getting punched in the chest. He's stabbing him while he's punching him. It almost cuts his heart out of his body. My buddy realizes he's bleeding to death, and he jumps in his car and runs himself to the Monroeville Hospital. And my buddy got visited by 2 of his baddest guys, and they said, "Hey, we can't protect you. We can't guarantee your safety if you talk." They gave him $10,000, so of course he didn't talk. But anytime we went in any of their bars, we drank for free. Yeah, I was only arrested one time, and that was 1984 when I went on trial in September. But I never got in trouble. I got in trouble because of these guys up here in Tampa. 39 guys were arrested under the RICO laws, which is racketeering law. And out of the 39, 15 of us went on trial here in Tampa. And I was on trial for 2.5 months. We told my kids when they came home from school that day that I had been arrested. They started crying. I didn't realize they were going to understand. And man, I really felt bad. You know, they started really crying. I'm coming home one day from being processed. My wife and the kids all come running out of the house. "The judge acquitted you, the judge acquitted you." I came this close to being in prison for 15 years. Maybe the judge just didn't think the case was that good against me. I don't know if I gave Vince so much money he paid him off. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I paid a lot of money, I know that. What happened, we were doing a deal, and he talked me into doing a Coke deal, and I didn't want to do a Coke deal. I was just making good money just doing the weed. But he knew that I got the money from the Irish guys. I had their money, they're out of town. He figured I could use the money, get a good real price on some cocaine, and bring that back, and we could both make a quick $50,000 from it. I mean, I think there were like 12 kilos. Well, he changed everything on me. We went driving, and he takes the wheel of my car. And he just was a hard guy as far as he wanted to do things his way, and I usually gave him a little room. And he has me get out of the car. I said, "Hey, this is what we were talking about." He said, yeah, everything's all right. I got it all lined up. And I'm sitting in there for 2 hours. He doesn't come back. I know something's wrong. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. So, no, this was bad. This was difficult for me. I went, looked and looked and looked. I called friends of both of his and mine. They didn't know. They didn't see him. They didn't know what happened to him. I went back home to Florida. Got a call from the Pennsylvania State Police saying that my car was found burned out in the mountains. And like I said, I refrained from asking them if there were any bodies in it or anything. I haven't seen them or heard anything about them ever again. I got to go crawling to the guys that I used their money to make this deal, because I don't have their money. I don't want to go into that. It was a lot of money. Large sum, rather large sum. Trying to figure a way to pay back those fellas, those Irish guys from Pittsburgh, so they wanted to kill me, of course. That's why I went over to the Bahamas quite a bit, and I hid out in there. My buddy Ronnie, who had the boat, he had a place over there. He'd take me over. Then I went over to Costa Rica. My one friend was the owner of a casino. So it was good places for me to hide out, but it was got very lonely without my family. I'd come back over to see my wife and the kids, because they couldn't watch me continuously, you know. I got to get out of this. I got to figure a way out of getting out of this so I could be with my wife and kids. I'd start wondering, who am I? How did I get into the life that I lived? We had to come up with a plan eventually to get the money for the Irish guys. Because we were in the Bahamas, and we had this one guy, he's a Bahamian, and he had these bankers who did the banking for the casinos. And what they wanted to do, they proposed a deal, get counterfeit money and put it in the bank, and they'd give us real money, and they'd make money. I called him Slick Vic. He had connections. He ended up getting the counterfeit money. There were 4 of us now. Ronnie brought him in with the boat. Dante was our guy, our muscle guy. We needed anybody hurt badly, we could use Dante. We had to get the deal going where we would meet with these Bahamians who ran the bank and switch this counterfeit money with the real money. The word was that they were going to make a deal using the money that they were going to get out of the bank, get some cocaine. And they were going to buy $4 million worth, but they were only going to get $2 million from us. So that made us think, how are they going to do $4 million if they're only getting $2 million? And what about us? We're supposed to have the other $2 million. So right then we started thinking there's something not right here. So we had to think about taking precautions. If they try anything, what can we do? And when it came time to do it, we had the van. Ronnie drove us into this alley right behind the bank. Ronnie stayed back with the van, right? We wanted Dante to be ready if there was any trouble, because he was a little bit crazy. Well, the brothers of this banker, They were two big Bahamian dudes. We proceeded to go ahead and go into the vault and start exchanging the counterfeit money for the real money. And we finished up with the money in the vault. And all of a sudden, the two brothers, they had guns on us. And they told us, we're not going anywhere, and we're not taking any money. I had this bag, and it was, all of a sudden it started ticking. It was ticking away, and everyone wondered, what's that? And I said, well, we got a bomb here. We figured if you guys pulled something like this, we'd be ready for you. And the one brother, he said he didn't believe it. When Vic went in the back, he opened the door and let Dante in. We had a gun on them now. Of course, they had guns on us. How are we gonna settle this? The older brother that was the bank manager, he said, let's just call it an even deal. You take your share and we'll take ours.
Now listen, brother. No. You listen. You don't deserve shit after what you pulled. All right? But we're nice guys, and we're gonna pay you anyway. What are you looking at? Wait.
You know what? My wife and I talked about it. You know, I was Mr. Clean Cut, All-American teacher, like I said, coach, recreation director. I said, how did you feel? She said, scared. She was frightened. They basically, from what I can tell, to be honest with you, they shut it out of their minds. They were living good. They all had boys chasing them. They were good-looking girls. I felt good that now I'm providing well, because the other kids and everybody would talk about how my kids have the best clothes, and and live very nice. And I was proud of that fact. I think I was a good father. They really liked me. You know, I escaped going to jail one time. I was lucky. You realize how things can go wrong, and they go wrong all the time. I lost my nerve, I guess, or something, the will to do it. You get tired of it all. It wears on you. I had some problems I had prostate cancer. 4.5 years ago, I was in a bad car accident. I was in a hospital for 7 weeks, and they said a lot of brain damage. That's why at times I'm forgetting what the heck I'm saying.
You called me earlier this week with some news. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Which news was that, Tony? Let me think. Give me a clue.
The
Oh yeah, they just a few days ago, I was going through this testing, and I went in on my neurosurgeon. He told me that I have early stages of Alzheimer's.
Carl will call me sometimes to cry my shoulder, as he likes to say. But sometimes he just needs somebody to talk to, and he has family, of course. But a lot of times he feels like his family is embarrassed by him, that they're ashamed of him, ashamed of his past. He did everything he could to support them, and now he feels like a burden. He can't contribute. He talk about suicide. He'll tell me if he had a gun, we wouldn't be having this conversation because he would have already killed himself.
I feel like I hurt my wife and my family a lot. They lived a good life. The people up in Pittsburgh, my area, they all knew who I was and what I was. But down here in Florida, now, these are new people with a lot of them, new relationships. So I don't know. I wish I did that. I couldn't do anything about it anyway, except apologize to them, and which I probably am going to do somewhere along the line. I don't know when.
What? Your wife just sent you a text. What's the text?
Yeah. Can you please stop on your way home and get a gallon of orange juice?
Things have changed a little bit over the years.
Yeah, she must have done it on my granddaughter's phone. That's what happens to the big time guys. Huh?